In the book of Platform and Stalling Letters, it's about a government and the hallucinations that it was causing on people that actually didn't care about like hate or love. They were just existing like creators, and because they were creators, they noticed the patterns of the government and what they were trying to do with them, the experiments, and they were able to escape them. Also because of the hallucinations that the government was contaminating them with, they were also able to escape them because of those hallucinations. So the book right now is at where like they're both hallucinating, supposedly. They're in a hallucination, but it feels real. They have all their senses in that hallucination, but then they fall asleep, and that's when they wake up. The two characters woke up from the hallucinations because they noticed that they were the only two that were seeing the hallucinations, because the rest of the people kept lying to them. Which sucks, because when they do wake up from the hallucination, they're actually in a dream. So it's kind of like if someone was to say to you, that reality is fake but your dreams are real. And the reason why it was like that is because the brain in my book is what matters. So it's trying to say like once they woke up, there actually is their mind traveling like energy. That's how they woke up. At that point, when they wake up, they notice that every dream they ever had was actually a reality, and they see the full capacity of their brain. So they're kind of like scared of what they're gonna experience, and then from there, that's when the story starts to like awaken, instead of like being so gray and plastic, how life really is. Everything is so plastic, everything is so maneuvered by the government and by titles, by corruption. When they notice that love and hate actually are to be ignored. You're not supposed to love nor hate, you're just supposed to be. And it's talking about how mundane is about being able to touch something. Like right now I'm touching this, and my senses, I can feel everything I'm touching. And that's mundane. That's like, that's not really, you know, what people say is important. They say is your emotions and how you take things in. But they notice that this is actually more important, to be able to touch something and know that that's reality, because now they're lost inside of their mind. They've been fully awoken. And they also see how love and hate shouldn't just be ignored because they're high energies. It should be avoided at all times so they don't wake up in a different area of their brain. So they're fighting love and hate at the same time, knowing that love it doesn't conquer hate. Love actually goes hand in hand with hate. They're actually both toxic. And they start noticing like things that we hate to do, like throw out the trash and like walk. They start noticing how important that is, because to them it's harder when they're inside of their thoughts. Now they're noticing their dreams are real. They're lost in basically what you would call dream world. They're lost in there, but they're found because that is actually reality. They're now just energy. And their hearts, basically, they're trying to stay away from love, because if let's say, you know, when you have one of those dreams, you have one of them crazy dreams where it wakes you up like that because you want it so bad. You wake up into your body and you're like, damn it, why did I wake up? Because your body is sending out the nerves. And you know how in real life, when you're like having a good experience, you question it, you're like, is this real? That's basically what happens in your dreams, and you wake up because your nerves and everything are so active, and then boom, you're back to your reality, you're back here. So they're trying to avoid that. They're trying to avoid contact with love and hate because they're strong emotions. They can wake you up like that. Just like when you're having scary dreams, it gets to the point where you're about to, like, when you have those dreams where you're hallucinating that you're gonna fall and then you wake up and you jump, it's like that. They're trying to avoid that as well. So they're trying to avoid love and hate now. The book is at that point right now. And it's hard to understand because they're just talking. I have to find a way to explain the book more. This is my first time doing this. And the reason why I'm putting it so unprofessionally on here is so that my ideas don't get stolen. Like I said, the government, let's say I'm talking about my book. Okay, let's just say I'm talking about my book. You know how people, the government likes to watch people through computers and stuff like that. They also use that to steal and stuff like that. Let's say I'm talking about my book. So I had to be careful. Like, my shit kept getting stolen. I'm talking about my book. And I'm just posting my shit so it has its true identity. Yeah. And it's not professionally done, but it's still raw and it's still me, so I don't care. I like it. When I'm talking about like mundane, I mean like being able to walk, do your casualty things that get taken for granted. That is important, and they start doing that with their dreams. They stop caring about having like weird abstract dreams, and like they start just wanting to do the normal in their dreams so they don't wake up from it, and act normal towards everything. Like if they see something that scares them, boom, act normal, it goes away, and it can last longer in their mind to awaken it more. And then that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to stay in there. By they, I mean the two characters, female and male. And that's where it's at right now, like I said. It's like when you're having lucid dreams. People say you could last longer in your dreams if you do not scare yourself awake. And you could get an interpretation of like something spiritual. But to them, they noticed spirituality doesn't exist. It was used to control people. And they noticed as well that the government was using them to give the higher authority their shit to keep people in line or kill them off. And once it got to the point where everybody was dying, they had to live in this, like, it says it in the thing, I'm not going to give it out. They had to find a different way to live. They basically wanted to stay in their dreams to awaken, because every time they noticed that they got further in a dream, their brain was more awoken, and they were able to do more in real form when you are able to use all your senses. In the book, yes, you're able to use all your senses when you're awake, but it's in your sleep when you summon it. In the book, the government was collecting people's genetics like easy, like as if you went to go do a blood test, they will keep your blood. If you had to get that, you know, yearly shot or whatever, they will keep your blood and run the chemicals in a different way to know what's going on with the human body at the moment. That's what they were doing in the book, and it goes in like details how these two characters handle it. Like everybody was under it. They put like chemicals then in the air and stuff like that, the government, to kill people or control them and give them a brain that will be easier to control. So So nothing was a coincidence, and these two characters noticed that everything was maneuvered by a bigger hand. And the blood test that they were doing on the people is basically, like I said, to see where they were at, to then, you know, control their brain, whatever part of the brain they wanted to activate and whatever part they didn't. It's kind of like mind control, but they were doing it with like casualties. Like if they said that you need to get a yearly shot or something like that, like get like a shot, like a needle, they would do it like that, to run tests with people's blood to see how they could affect their chemicals, to keep everybody in under the same thought or almost the same thought, so they could have a government and nobody will wake up from it, a bad fucking shitty government, instead of people actually living the mundane casually and just being, which is the most extreme for me. Like right now I think just being is awesome, like being able to like walk, being able to just do your stuff and not being washed, being human basically, living under your possession and your control instead of others. But they weren't able to until they started noticing how to use what the government was using. How did they wake up? That's what the book is about, and where are they going. No, it's not like a fucking apocalypse, and no, it's not a spiritual book, and no, it's not a fucking Matrix. It's just talking about how great casual life is, and I'm trying to like dumb it down to like casual things, but I'm always trying to talk poetic, and I need to stop that, because then I feel like I'm not explaining the shit, but I'll try. There is a cloud in the thing that talks about how it has chemicals that killed everybody. That cloud is basically, like I said, the chemicals that they ate themselves through. I never really noticed pollution, and I do care about it now. I don't know if there's anything that could be done real form, like I'm talking me, not the book. I think that's weird that when I wrote the book that I cared about pollution because when I wrote it, the cloud was basically supposed to be something toxic. It was supposed to be like people being fucked up and not caring. That I did used to care about, like people around me. Like I didn't want to mess with dumb people who just wanted to gossip. I wanted to really explore my thoughts with people that matter and share my thoughts with people that mattered. But the cloud is obviously talking about pollution, and as I read it now, that's exactly what is happening with the world. Like there's so much pollution. The church don't want to talk about it because they believe in Jesus protecting them. They never talk about it. But my book talks about why the church is like this, like it's all like manufactured. It's all manipulated by the government. Even the church is manipulated to keep people in line. So the hallucinations, right? They're both having the same hallucinations. By that I mean like they both had. Everybody else, when they confronted them about the hallucinations, they'll say, no, that didn't happen. And they will both look at each other like, okay, maybe there's something wrong with us. And I still haven't put that part in the book. The book starts with not knowing shit about what's going on, except for it's very poetic. Like, it's not speaking as direct, but I'm definitely gonna put that. And another thing they don't notice by standing by each other's side, they actually notice by turning their backs on each other, how hate can save them. Because they started hating without wanting to, because they couldn't be together. That people didn't want them together because they hated anything that was real. The government that was left. Anyways, but then they ended up, at the end, because their love was so strong, because they hated what was going on, the bad stuff, they ended up finding each other because of hate, and they ended up being able to disappear. They ended up standing for the right thing because of hate, not because of their love. So that's how they knew how to end up how to end up using hate. because I always spoke about this, like I feel like you could use hate. Every single emotion you feel is usable as long as you do it the right way. Hate, lust, all that. Every single thing has a use in this. Every single thing. You could throw something away. And I learned that from my parents, because they start from scratch with everything we buy. We start from scratch. They see potential in everything. So that part of their lives, I got that from them. And that's basically what my book is going to explain. Like, people saw what was trash, but these people, because they were able to like see potential in things because of the love they felt for each other, they actually were able to escape the government. So where they at right now is a tower where everybody would say, nah, we're never going there. They're in there. And it's because they knew that they wouldn't get chased. If something would happen, nobody's gonna go there. People are too scared. So they went there for their safety, and they ended up finding shit out that they weren't supposed to. As they were finding things out, the people that were controlling them needed them. So when they left the location where they were, those people perished, passed away. And now they're dealing with what is ahead, is the unknown. They're dealing with the unknown. And that's like what I'm gonna interpret in like the next stuff that what I'm about to write, well, put down in the next part of the book. Another thing is that they're gonna figure out why they like each other, and if it's of them or chemicals that were thrown into their bodies for them to like each other. Because now they don't even trust what they're made out of. And so Chase, my character, he's gonna start writing her experiences attached to his experiences, because they went through similar experiences. Remember, they were maneuvered by the government. They were maneuvered by the government to basically feel everything, enhance every fucking emotion they had, because they were controlling their thoughts. So at this point, they're gonna see why they felt for each other while experiencing different sceneries that they never seen, different chemicals they never felt, because now their brain capacity is full awoken. You know how people say when you eliminate toxic people from your life, you become more successful? Well, they basically, everybody that was governing, the whole government was eliminated, everything toxic. So now everything is like flourishing in them. They're like Adam and Eve. They're brand new. So they're both like, what is this shit? There's gonna be a part where Chase is basically writing why he became so attached to her. He noticed what they created of her. They put her through so much weird shit so they could control her. She's known to be casually beautiful, not like enhanced beautiful, but like the organic beautiful. So he always thought it was just him who made himself feel that way, but when he woke up, he knew it was them. They liked her. That's why they wanted to hurt her. They liked the way what she stood for, and they didn't want her to know her value. But he, no matter what, still felt that thing for her, because he wasn't like other people, like it said from the beginning. He grew up already feeling things that were told for them not to feel. He liked it because he was a fucking weirdo, which is basically like me. So he starts writing like her events and his events, how they were so much alike. And then he started writing, this is why I became so attached to you in this area, and this is why I became attached to you in this area. And then he starts awakening to see, like, do I like her, or was I maneuvered to like her? So then that makes, even though he likes her a lot, that makes him not want to like her, because it was some other system that was making him like her. So he starts just wanting to explore, and around this time, he's just gonna, like, leave. He's not gonna want to be with her. And I'm gonna, like, in depth and put that more in depth, and this is when he starts like being crazy, and she is not going to be known until after all that.